Good morning. Well, I was told to take my days off and not to work when I have a day off. So that's what I'll be doing from now on. Must have a break from the computer. So I went to watch some Muay Thai boxing yesterday. Excellent stuff. So these are the matches from yesterday. What newcomers should be doing is to retrospectively trade. That way it's paper trading. So look at yesterday's results, stick them into the My Games facility, and ask yourself, what, if anything, would I have done? Man United and Fulham, well, there was one key stat that I think it was outside the top three. Man United failed to score only once at home last season. I don't know if you could hold your hat to that yesterday, but their new arrival, Xerxes, substituted 60th minute, getting an 87th minute goal, assisted by the other substitute. So really good, or lucky substitutions. And it was a Fulham side full of crooners like old Shirley Bassey and Lisa Stansfield. They still couldn't conjure up a goal. Impressive performance from Fulham, I thought. It was always going to be one of these tight ones. If you looked at the head-to-heads, they tend to be 1-1s, that kind of scoreline, or even 1-0s. One goal in it, basically. Le Havre, really good performance against the Paris Saint-Germain until the 85th minute, where it all fell apart. Ouch. 4 goals in the space of 5 minutes. That's going to hurt. Le Havre. Could have played the draw second half. Looking on through, nothing much doing in La Liga. Although I would have favoured Sevilla. But the opening 2 goals were actually own goals. I would have favoured Sevilla here, but a very good result for Las Palmas, who lived on their home form last season. Union Saint-Gilloise, if you had an in-place stats feed, you'd have been all over Union Saint-Gilloise here. It pretty much one-way traffic, thoroughly deserved the win. Utterly dominant. It was a 93rd minute penalty, so wow. I think had I been playing this live, I would have looked to lay that draw late on. You've seen me drip laying a lot. If you're laying at 1.25 and lower, your maximum loss, at least the way I do it, is about £4.50. Maximum profit, about 40 quid. Dinamo Zagreb continue on their merry way. Pre-match odds 1.17, as you'll learn. 3-0, 3-1, any other home score. And at least a goal before half-time. That's the expectation of a 1.17 shot. The reason the odds aren't here is because this is in the My Games facility. Lyngby and Midtjylland, well, you'd always be favouring Midtjylland. Lyngby have already played 2 of the big boys. Brøndby and Copenhagen conceded 2 goals. You'd have expected Midtjylland to do similar. And again, it was a very late night last night, as far as goals is concerned. And that should be good news for you if you're looking for the late winner from what looks like the Angry Birds of Midtjylland. Late goals mean big profits. Obi Odense still well worth following. Frederica as well, odds on favourites I believe yesterday. 1.7, already done by half time. Really good performance. Coventry and Oxford, again it's a watching brief for newly promoted Oxford, isn't it? But it looked as if they were given their first sign that they're in the better league now. Done by half time for Coventry. And a late winner for Coventry as well. You could have laid the late Desmond Tutu if you wanted, but of course we've only got one match to work off as far as teams' abilities or patterns to get rid of these draws later. But yet again, a late goal. So a real coupon of late goals. And the earlier incarnation of footballtradingprofits.com was DRT, delay, react, trade, delay being the operative word. If you're delaying and looking for those goals, and you hit them, you're going to make a big profit for a small outlay. English Premier League 2, over 2.5 goals. Look at this. Did we get 2 goals before half-time in the 2-0s? Well, we just got the 1 from West Ham. That could have impacted on the 2.5 goal market. This 1-1 as well. Did they come first half? No, they didn't. Second half. So that would have been a tricky one. Personally, over 2.5 goals, I like to look for at least a goal before half-time. But just to mention, Premier League 2 and Professional Development League, they have a really good bias towards goals. And yesterday's e-letter, which is available for you to read at footballtradingprofits.com, did mention possible over 2.5 goal strategies. Great to see French Ligue 2 back, but it's a real watching brief at the moment. Are the newly promoted sides or newly relegated sides dominating? No, they're not. 2-2 for Clermont. But they did come from behind, so that was a possible play. Newly relegated Clermont. Can they be relied upon? Are they going to find French Ligue 2 a lot easier? Those are the questions to answer. DBF Pokal, you could have actually got a trade or two out of this yesterday had you stuck with the Bundesliga sides. Playing Wiesbaden and Mainz, got a Mainz equaliser. And the mighty Hoff equalised after conceding first from Würzburger Kickers. It was an own goal. It's a typical mayhem from the mighty Hoff, of course. We don't know which Hoff is going to turn up, but at least they got all of their penalties in. Bayern Munich against Ulm. Ulm are newly promoted to the Bundesliga 2. They're struggling in that league. Thomas Muller getting a run out. So the usual suspects, Harry Kane coming on 63rd minute. Kingsley Coman as well, both substitutes. As with Manchester United, having a great impact late on. And guess what? More late goals. This was precisely what we expect. Say it with me, 0-3, 1-3. Any other away score. The Irish FAI Cup, you're looking for big gaps in league. Ballyfermot, Wexford, for example. Derry City, well, just edging through against First Division Cork with yet another late goal. Not as late as some of the others. Drogs, 9-0. Let's see if this was predicted in the market. 1.06. I've told you this before. 1.06, 1.05. Look for wins to nil. Either have a punt at odds or evens. What do I mean? I would tend to go for 3 scorelines. 5-0, 7-0, 9-0, or 4-0, 6-0, 8-0. And you'll be lucky if you hit one. Boom, 9-0. You're going to get a far bigger return by doing that than backing 106, that's for sure. Possible win to nil is expected. So that was good stuff. Treaty playing De Pike Rovers. Nice to see you there, Mr. Pike Rovers there. No jokes about pikeys, please. I'll get letters. My mum's Irish, so don't worry. Again, 1.14. And I've got an Irish passport, so there we go. 1.14 shot. Well, this was more emphatic, but again, 3-0, 3-1, any other home score. And this is any other home score. 7-0. Good stuff. The Eerste Divisie, we're expecting goals. They haven't quite turned up. Only 3 over 2.5 goal matches yesterday. And surprisingly barren for a couple of these. Extraclasse. Didn't really pay attention to that yesterday, but it's always worth keeping an eye on the scorelines week by week. Similar story, Polish First Division, but I do prefer Arka Gdynia in this league. Did Lotz's red card prove fatal? No, it didn't really. They've already conceded prior to the red card. Porto, comfortable win. Was the red card the difference between Gil Vicente and AVS? Well, 2-2 at half time, so arguably it was, but a couple of late goals from Fujimoto. Getting the 2 late winners, and yet again, late goals. So if you want to take Desmond Tutu's on, take them on as late as possible. And yesterday, certainly, you'd have been amply rewarded. Spanish La Liga 2, just a watching brief this early on in the league. I think Zaragoza, were they newly promoted or newly relegated? I think Cadiz were in the Liga. If you go to H2H and you go backwards to before the friendlies, you'll see that Cadiz were in the Primera Liga and Zaragoza in La Liga 2. So on that basis, you'd be favouring Cadiz, wouldn't you? And no, what a poor start for the newly relegated side Cadiz. Welcome to La Liga 2. Swiss Cup. Well, the usual suspects from the top flight. Yverdon Sport and Winter Tour, comfortable enough wins. Galatasaray, it's another draw, which they ended second half nice and quickly. Could have laid the draw second half, arguably. They should be winning, Gala. Attracting some good players, Turkish Super League, and some good managers. The special one. We've got Icardi here. Dries Mertens, for example. So really good players. They're, of course, picking up their retirement fund by heading off to this lesser league. Fenerbahce have the likes of Edin Dzeko as well. So the special one's picking up some star players. Pendikspor and Kocaelispor. Turkish One League again, just worth monitoring, worth a look at, and yet another late goal. So it's a day of late goals yesterday. Would have suited you DRTers, you delay react traders. On to today. Not much I can pass on to you pre-match because we've got starts of seasons. And you've seen a whole raft of nil-nils in Belgium. Start of the season. A whole raft of nil-nils in the SPL last week at the start of the season. And in Spain, the first two matches of the season, the Atletico Bilbao matches, ended with draws, score draws. So we can't really unpack these matches. We've got teams as well, team selection. New manager for Liverpool. New promoted Ipswich. Going to be fascinating. Arsenal, you'd think, will have far too much for Wolves. Wolves will be looking at containment. But Arsenal were, along with, I think, Liverpool and Manchester City, the top scorers in the Premier League last season. They're going to be very tough to keep out. Everton and Brighton is a complete unknown, as you can see. 2.6 the favourite. Newcastle, for me, my initial instinct, far too short at 1.33 against newly promoted Saints. Big question mark against the Saints, of course. As far as whether they'll sink or swim, we'll soon find out. Nottingham Forest and Bournemouth has a kind of a relegation 6-pointer feel about it already this early on in the season. 2.4 the favourite. West Ham and Aston Villa. A claret and blue side is probably going to win this one. New manager for West Ham. So you've got to be very careful. Aston Villa under old Dick Emery started coming alive in the second half last season. We saw a pattern of them suddenly starting scoring 2 goals away from home. So watch out, West Ham. New manager, though, it's a complete and utter watching brief, isn't it? You've got no way of knowing how on earth this team is going to perform under the new manager. You'll find the manager's details here at uk.soccerway.com. I don't even know who the new West Ham manager is. Is it Sir Trevor Brooking? Or I don't know. Let's have a look. If you go to West Ham here, click on the team individually. Then you can have a look at the squad. If we can get there. There we go. Look at the transfers. Interestingly, Wan-Bissaka is back in London. Really good signing, I would say, for them. They've also brought in Kilman from Wolves and Jimmy Somerville from Bronski Beat, 29 million. And Fulkrug from Dortmund, that's a hell of a buy. Wow. Impressive. Out, Downs, Benrahma, and of course, the manager. So you go to the squad here, and you click on current, scroll down, and you'll have the manager here. Lopetegui, Spaniard. So interesting. There's old Jimmy Somerville, striker. Fulkrug is an excellent buy, albeit it's quite an old quite an old side up front, isn't it, for West Ham? But that's really good. Thomas Souček as well, is an excellent player. Reliable as can be. Ward-Prowse, your free kick taker. So it's going to be fascinating to see how the new manager performs. I can't offer you anything apart from dogs barking. Yeah, thank you. Okay, I'll just pause this. French League 1 is a watching brief again. The previews I've done for you at footballtradingprofits.com. Have a read of them if you'd like, but as ever, opening matches of the season can be surprises. You'd expect the likes of Monaco at home to do something. Saint-Etienne, I believe, newly promoted, are they? We saw their battle last season, didn't we? Let's make sure I got this right. French Ligue 2? No, Ligue 1. Last season. Oh, okay. I think it was a battle for survival, was it not, for them? Because I'm sure they were in French Ligue 2. Italian Serie A, great to see that back. Inter Milan, champions from last season, 1.53 away from home. Again, one of those big names you really just want to investigate to see if anybody's out, any significant ins and outs at these big sides. Of course, you've got the new manager for Liverpool, which means watching brief, doesn't it? Inter Milan, Liverpool certainly have the quality, don't they, still? You're looking at whether Inter Milan have retained a lot of their stars from last season. If we can get to this. There we go. Click on Inter Milan individually. Go to transfers here, or you can go to transfermarkt.com. So we've got in Josep Martinez from Genoa, who I think they're playing today. Carlos Augusto, Fratesi from Sassuolo, Marko Arnautovic from Bologna. That's strange. Is he back? Transfers out. No significant outs, which is a positive for Inter Milan followers this season. No significant outs, only 4 million. So peripheral players, I would suggest. So it looks as if it's going to be a very, very strong Inter Milan side. Jan Sommer in goal. What a class act. The Swiss national goalkeeper. Wow. Denzel Dumfries, famous name. Dimarco, Bastoni, Darmian, Pavard, the French international. Midfield, Barella, Henrik Mkhitaryan, Çalhanoğlu, Fratesi. It's all well-known names. Marko Arnautovic is back at 35 years old. He's nearly as old as Joe Biden, for goodness sake. I like Martinez as well. He's the kind of striker who will get you the goal in tight matches. Simone Inzaghi, the manager. Was he the manager last season? I'm not too sure. One of the famous Inzaghi brothers. So, great to see it back. But as ever, I can't get you too enthused in the opening matches of the season. Dutch Eredivisie. Twente, strong favourite today. AZ Alkmaar, the usual goal merchants. And in Spanish La Liga, this is a fascinating clash. Valencia-Barcelona. And again, Barcelona, one of those sides who can splash the cash. So let's have a look at Barcelona. So as you can see, they have really splashed the cash with Dani Olmo from Leipzig. Really good buy there. Ansu Fati, is he coming back from Brighton? Brighton would have been delighted to keep him. And Vitor Roque, 40 million. Don't know much about him, of course, from Brazil. Out. Just some peripheral players. Out. João Felix. Well, that's already done and dusted, isn't it? So it's as you were, pretty much, for this Barcelona side. 19 goal last season. But had a pretty poor Euros in a pretty poor Polish side. And a hair flick from the Gestapo is the manager. Hello, hello. Hansi Flick. Ferran Torres, Ansu Fati back? Question mark. He's going to be a great addition. Lamine Yamal, the famous 17-year-old, still in school. So it's a very strong, as you'd expect, side. And is it a new tactic at Barca that they're going to be trying to get more Spanish players in the squad? Frankie de Jong, Gundogan, we know all about him. Fantastic player. Dani Olmo. So it's a really solid Barcelona side, but they've got a work to do to catch up with Real Madrid this season in the title battle. It's likely to be a two-horse race, isn't it? So those are the main leagues. We'll have a quick walk through the other leagues. Probably got the Austrian Bundesliga. Work our way through. Austrian Bundesliga indeed. Sturm Graz favourite away at Austria Klagenfurt. Lask Linz and Red Bull Salzburg likely to be a tight affair. Two title contenders. Blau-Weiß Linz were newly promoted last season. Graz are, I think, newly promoted this. So that's a fascinating clash in itself. The Belgian Jupiler League will be on my watch list today as well. Beerschot, newly promoted, playing Genk. Dender have been the real stars. The newly promoted Dender really put in some solid results. This is what I'm talking about at the start of the season. You need to be watching these teams, looking for patterns, whether they're going to sink or swim. Well, look at this lot. Drawing against champions Union Saint-Gilloise. I think they're champions. Ghent, nowhere near being favourite against Ghent, winning 1-2. And again, beating Kortrijk comfortably 4-1. So are both teams to score and winning pattern. Really solid. Dender are going to be absolutely delighted with the start to their season. Question is whether they have the legs to continue it. The Croatian HL1 League continues today. It's well worth following, but 2.45 is a favourite, suggesting the market finds this one a little bit too tough to call. Czech Chance League. Looks like Dukla Prague are newly promoted to join Slavia Prague and Sparta Prague. These are the two usuals you'd expect to get wins, and they are great trading sides, these two. We've already had it this season. Both teams, I think, coming from behind to clench wins. So watch out for the Pragues. Dukla Prague, are they going to struggle? And again, you can check newly promoted in the Czech Republic by just going backwards prior to the CFs, which are friendlies. That's the one leg. And Dukla Prague, all I want for Christmas is a Dukla Prague away kit. They were in the lower tier. So they are newly promoted and therefore potentially targetable. And indeed, the market thinks they're going to struggle today away at Hradec Králové. So watch out for these newly promoted Dukla Prague. No Danish Super League today, but the first division is well worthy of your attention. But the market suggests perhaps in-place stats today. And great to see the English Championship, English League One and English League Two returning. Potential for a live chat webinar today, although it is the start of the season, you might not get any trades, but then we might get plenty of trades. So I might set myself up a live chat webinar for you at 3 o'clock. I'll see if I can remember how to do that on Streamlabs. I haven't done it for such a long time. So all the details will be at the website for you and on Telegram. Got a 12:30 kickoff today. That's likely to be the starting point of my coverage on Telegram. And as ever, I can't offer you anything regarding form lines for any of this lot. You can tell how tough the coupon is. 2.6, 2.4, 2.15, 2.1, 2.15. Anything over evens, the market's just saying, we haven't got a Scooby-Doo, mate. Sorry, we can't pick a winner here. We don't have enough information to work off, is pretty much what they're saying. Watch out for the newly relegated sides. You can see immediately Sheffield United are at home to QPR. Are they going to sink or swim? Burnley are at home to Cardiff. Are they going to sink or swim? We will see. And Leeds are away at West Brom. They've conceding far too many goals, Leeds. They're going to be a little concerned with that already. Luton as well are away at Pompey. English League One, a similar story. Watching brief. In-play stats play a very vital role here. We can't really offer you any pre-match research on English League One, English League Two. They are very tradable leagues, as you see, week in, week out. Just the one French League 2 match today, but it's a league well worth following throughout the season, particularly when it comes to the end of the season. German Bundesliga 2 likely to be with us as well, but I haven't seen the league yet. DBF Pokal, so maybe not. The German Bundesliga will be returning next week. In the meantime, we've got some of the big boys out. Dortmund.
This market is now in play.
Dortmund playing Phoenix Lübeck. And you saw that 9-0 yesterday. So have a go with the bookmaker. With this one, and with this one. Either 5-0, 7-0, 9-0, or 4-0, 6-0, 8-0. Or a combination of any six, but perm any three of those six. And if you pick up a 9-0 like that match yesterday, Drogheda, I think it was, ka-ching. That's what we expect of Dortmund, Schalke and Greuther Fürth. You can see, normally, it's the Bundesliga teams that are away from home. Hence, nearly 100% odds-on favourites away from home. The German Super Cup, it's likely to be a goal fest, this one, by Leverkusen. I've been scoring still in pre-season friendlies. Make sure they've kept. This is another important element for a side like Leverkusen. Teams will have been taking notice, and they've tried to lure the manager away. But have they tried to lure the players away? We can go this route. Have a look at Leverkusen's team. So go to transfers here. Make sure none of the strikers in particular, like Stick, have moved on. Terrier is in for Rennes, and Belokian and Alex Garcia from Girona. Girona are mixed with Manchester City. Out, thankfully, no major outs. So they've got the attackers that they had last season. With the tactics from Xabi Alonso, it's the perfect fit, isn't it? So you're going to expect 2+ goals pretty much every match. We've got a new centre forward in Terrier as well, but Schick has been superb. Boniface is the key boy. He has been absolutely superb. So watch out for the German Cup. It'll give you an idea, or the Super Cup, give you an idea of whether Leverkusen can continue their absolute goal fest. Greek Super League with us as well. PAOK Thessaloniki, Oli, the big two, are out at 6 o'clock. Serie B, whether you are attention, you can tell this video is going long because we've got so much football. So I hope you get the idea. I'm only down to K, and we've got loads and loads and loads on today. We've probably got the peripheral leagues as well. The Dutch Eerste Divisie, just the one match there. Norwegian Elite Serien, Strom Godset, Lillestrøm. We've probably got some Swedish football as well, but I won't be researching it anymore. My focus is now on these elite leagues. Polish First Division, well worth following. Jagiellonia, the champions last season, are at home. First Division, just keep an eye on it. Polish One League. As we get to S, we're likely to be getting, Portuguese Premier League. Watch out for Benfica. They have been selling some of the major stars, particularly Paris Saint-Germain. They already need to win. They lost their opening match, as you famously know. Sporting Lisbon away at Nacional as well. Portuguese La Liga 2. Boy, this video is going to be war and peace. I better cap it at 30 minutes. Romania. So the basic story is there's a lot of football today. A lot of great football. A lot of tradable football. I will be up and about. It's the League Cup this week. Rangers are at home to St Johnstone. Aberdeen at home. Again, we've got those gaps in leagues, which I really do like. I like Ross County last week. Got us a very nice trade, didn't they? That equaliser very, very late on. Can they do it in the Cup? Probably the Swedes are with us. Spanish La Liga 2 as well. Excellent league to follow. The Allsvenskan, I'm not researching now, but Malmo, of course, the usual suspects at home. This is going to be purely reactive from now on. The Swedish and Norwegian leagues and Finnish Viscountliga as well. But we've got enough knowledge about them that we can do something. Swiss Cup instead of the league today. Sion, newly promoted. There's one or two of them. So I'll call it a day now. But I will see you probably for a live chat webinar at 3 o'clock, just to dip in so you can get used to the trading setup, looking at in-place stats, how we try to suss out trades, where we could find our angles from. So I'll see members and indeed non-members. I'll open up the live chat webinar today, but next week's will be members only. Have a great day. I'll see you for a live chat webinar at 3 p.m. Full details in the socials and in the research bulletin and on Telegram.